Today I'm going to give you 5 Sherwin-Williams sea salt tips you should know before deciding if it's the right paint for your room. And the first tip I'm going to talk about are the undertones of sea salt that's right behind me. I'm going to show you how it works in your home and why it's so important to know. And the second tip I'm going to talk about is how sea salt reacts to natural lighting and artificial lighting and why you need to get this right. And tip number 3, 4, and 5, I'm going to give you some valuable color palette ideas and why they work. So let's get rolling. Jacob Owens here as your go-to e-design color consultant. I don't just talk about paint. I actually apply the paint on a large 2x2 drywall, and this is sea salt. I get to live with it for 1 week, so I can give you valuable tips before deciding if this is the right paint for you. This paint chip right here, it doesn't tell you the full story. Before I paint you the real color, let's get to know the personality of sea salt. It's a neutral color, it falls on the cool sides of colors, it loves to hang out with other cool colors, it does really well with lots of natural sunlight, and it works well in just about any room. There are 3 things that most people like about sea salt. They find it calming, they find it soothing, and relaxing. Sea salt has 2 undertones that you need to know about, blue and green gray. But let's take this a step further. I'm going to cut out a piece of drywall, I'm going to prime it, and then I'm going to put 3 coats of sea salt paint. Let's go. Right here behind me is what sea salt looks like. One word, it's beautiful. We know that the undertones of sea salt is blue and green gray. So the next step is to identify what kind of undertones do you have in your room. The number 1 problem that most people run into is they're not able to understand what type of undertones you have in your room. So to prove my point, I want you to come and follow me. All right, so here we are. I'm going to give you a great example of what not to do and why. So right behind me is a dark beige recliner, and right down below is a light beige carpet. So to prove my point, come, follow me over here. There are 2 undertones that you need to know about. This recliner has an orange undertone, and this carpet has a yellow undertone. Now, ideally, the perfect paint would be Kelham Beige by Sherwin-Williams. As I put this down right here, the reason why this paint works so well is because this has more of an orange undertone, which complements very well with this dark recliner. And Kelham Beige has just a little bit of yellow undertone, and it goes really well with this light beige carpet. So this goes perfectly. Now I'm going to show you what happens when I put sea salt and compare it with this carpet and this recliner. Let's check this out. All right, so here's sea salt. The first thing that you're going to notice is that we have a cool undertone competing with the warm undertone of the carpet and the recliner. They don't go together. Also, the blue and green gray of sea salt do not go well with the yellow undertone of this carpet nor with the orange undertone of this recliner. What happens is that sea salt is going to make the carpet and this recliner look old and outdated. So there's so many other reasons why this color wouldn't work in this room, but you get the point, right? You need to understand the undertones that you have in your room. So tip number 2 is lighting. And tip number 2 is natural and artificial lighting. It's one of the most important elements to consider before deciding if it's really the right paint for you. Now, as you're aware of, I have my large 2x2 drywall sample of sea salt. I was able to live with it for 1 week. I put it into every room from sun up to sundown. Now, we all have one thing in common when it comes to our homes. North, west, east, south. Let's start with the north-facing room. Let's go. So north-facing rooms, they lack the constant natural lighting throughout the day. So in return, it's less reflective. So you're going to see more of the blue undertones as you see right here. I pair sea salt with the neutral white to help bring out the blue undertone for you to see with your own eyes. If you do happen to have a lot of windows, you may experience the true color of sea salt that has the green-gray undertone, but chances are you will be competing with the shadows or other areas of your wall that doesn't get much natural lighting. So having said that, this is the color you should be expecting to see for your north-facing rooms. West-facing rooms are the areas of your home where you're going to experience the most changes of colors, as to be expected. Now, due to the fact that you don't get a lot of sunlight in the morning, as you can see, the undertone will lean more to the blue. However, in the afternoon, it will start to shift to the green-gray undertone as you would expect it to, but it will depend on a lot of factors, such as windows, amount of natural sunlight throughout the room, shadows, and so on. So the south-facing rooms have the most sunlight, in many cases almost all day. So it's also one of the areas of your home that has the most reflective lighting. In return, it makes your sea salt absolutely stunning. So once again, I pair sea salt with a neutral white to help you see the green-gray undertone. Typically, this is the color you should expect in a south-facing room, especially if you have a lot of windows on a bright or partly cloudy day. In the east-facing rooms, you're going to get the bulk of sunlight in the morning. The color is going to be true to form. As you can see, the undertone of green-gray will be the dominant color until sometime in the afternoon when you start to get less light, and then you'll see the shift to blue undertones, especially in the shadows of your room as the sun progresses to the west. So that's something to be aware of with east-facing rooms. Now, when it comes to artificial lighting, it's a personal choice for most people. So I want you to understand what will happen depending on the type of lighting you have or you choose to modify. As you can see with this soft lighting, it's anywhere between 2700 to 3000 K. It will give off that warm yellow undertone. It will be competing with the cool undertone colors of sea salt. It will make sea salt look dull and almost warm green. Now let's move over to cool white lighting. It's anywhere between 3500 to 4100 K. As you can see, it still gives off a yellow undertone, but it's not as pronounced. With the right amount of surface lighting, you'll have a nice balance of green-gray undertones and sometimes a hint of blue undertone, depending on the distribution of lighting. And last, here is day lighting. It's anywhere between 5000 to 6500 K. As you can see, it brings out the blue undertones, but if spaced out correctly, you can have a nice balance of green-gray undertone as well. Now you understand the undertones of sea salt and why it's so important. You know how natural and artificial lighting work and why you need to get this right. Next, I'm going to give you 3 paint colors that will work beautifully with sea salt, and it's a great start to head in the right direction. So, what I recommend for your floor trims is Benjamin Moore Chantilly Lace. It's a true white, it's clean, it's a cool white with a barely noticeable blue undertone. It will go well with sea salt because of the blue undertone as well. Tip number 4 is Repose Gray. It's the perfect complement for sea salt. If you're a fan of gray, but you don't want that dark, heavy gray, then Sherwin-Williams Repose Gray would be an excellent choice. It pairs so well with sea salt. They both have blue undertones, and it's a match made in heaven. Tip number 5, if you love blue, then TRADEWIND is a winner. How can you possibly go wrong with blue? This is a calming light blue. It's not overly bright, nor is it a heavy blue. TRADEWIND just happens to have two undertones in common with sea salt, blue and green gray. However, it leans heavier on the blue side, but there is no doubt that these two colors belong together. I hope that you feel that you can make a better decision on whether or not Sherwin-Williams sea salt paint is the right one for you. Down below in the descriptions, I have a link to my blog. I talk a little bit more about this. You might want to check that out. Also, all the paints that I mentioned, there's also a link down below. You can check those out as well. And if you need help on finding the perfect paint for your home, you want to check out that link as well. So, the question of the day is, do you feel more confident about pairing sea salt with the undertones of your home? Or do you have an experience working with sea salt that you would like to share with all of us? Please put it in the comments down below. So thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe, hit that bell down below if you haven't already yet. Until next time, this channel is all about helping you paint your home right the first time.